They shoved her into the bathroom so fast her backpack barely hit the floor before the door slammed shut. "Relax," Kayla said, voice sweet and sharp at the same time. "We're just fixing a little problem." 3 girls. 1 door locked. The buzzing flicker of a fluorescent light overhead. The smell of cheap soap and old water. Layla's fingers curled around the strap of her bag, knuckles white. "I have to get to class?" She tried, her voice small, too polite. "Class can wait." Another girl snorted. "This can't." Kayla stepped closer, all perfect eyeliner and perfect hair, the kind of girl teachers smiled at and boys tripped over themselves for. In her hand, she held a pair of cordless clippers, the metal teeth glinting when she turned them on. The whir filled the tiled room, a low, hungry sound. "Take off the hoodie," Kayla said. Layla's heart dropped. She'd been wearing that hoodie all week. It was her shield, her comfort, the one barrier between her and the whispers. "No," Layla whispered. Wrong answer. In a blur of movement, one of the girls grabbed her arms from behind, pinning them. Another yanked the hood back so hard it scraped the back of her neck. Her hair spilled out, thick, dark, long. It had taken her years to grow it to her waist. Years of braids and oils and her grandmother's fingers combing through it on summer nights. "Hold still, charity case," Kayla muttered. "You think we don't see you? Walking around like you're better than everyone." "I never." Layla started, but the words were drowned by the clippers' roar as they pressed against her scalp. The first pass was the worst. Cold metal, a violent tug. The horrifying sensation of weight vanishing from her head. Strands fell in heavy clumps down her shoulders, onto the floor, into the sink. One of the girls giggled and pulled out her phone, recording. "Oh my God," she laughed. "Wait till they see this on Ghost Watch." Layla bit the inside of her cheek so hard she tasted blood. She'd promised herself she wouldn't cry at school. Not in front of them. Not in front of anyone. But when a lock of hair slid down her chest and landed on her shoe, her vision blurred. She squeezed her eyes shut. Her mind raced places her body couldn't, to her bedroom, to her grandmother's voice, to the way her mother always said, "Your hair is your crown, Layla. Wear it with pride." They were sawing off her crown and filming it for entertainment. "Leave a little on top." One of the girls joked. "You know, for memories." "Nah," Kayla said. "She needs a reset." The clippers made another pass. More hair, more laughter, more pieces of Layla hitting the ground. Then, just as suddenly as it started, it was over. Kayla clicked the clippers off and stepped back, surveying her work. Layla forced herself to open her eyes. The girl staring back at her from the mirror hardly looked human. Patchy, buzzed scalp, eyes too big, skin too pale. Her hands shook as she reached up, fingertips brushing uneven stubble. "Ow," Kayla cooed. "You look priceless." Someone slid Layla's backpack across the floor with their foot. Bell rang 3 minutes ago. "Might want to hurry, cancer kid." They unlocked the door and disappeared into the hallway, their laughter echoing off the tiles. The door swung slowly shut behind them, leaving Layla alone amid the wreckage. Hair covering the floor, her heartbeat roaring in her ears. For a long moment, she didn't move. Then she took out her phone, hands trembling, and raised it. Not to her head, to the mirror. Click. One photo, another of the hair on the floor, the clippers left on the sink. She filmed the whole room in a slow, steady pan. Evidence. At home, the house was quiet except for the clicking of a laptop keyboard. Her mother sat at the dining table, coffee cup half finished, papers fanned around her. A blazer hung over the back of her chair, her ID badge clipped to the pocket. Dist Attorney Elena Carter. Layla hesitated in the doorway, hoodie up, hands buried in the pocket. "Mom." "In here," Elena called, distracted. "You're early. Everything okay?" Layla stepped into the light. Elena's hands froze above the keyboard. The hoodie came off. For a heartbeat, nothing moved. No sound. No words. Just a mother looking at her daughter's shorn head, at the angry red scratches on her neck, at the bits of hair still clinging to her hoodie. "Who did this?" Elena's voice was low, controlled. Layla swallowed. "Girls at school." In the the bathroom, they filmed her names. She listed them, one by one. Kayla, Megan. Elena repeated them under her breath, as if committing them to memory, then stood. She didn't rush to hug Layla, didn't burst into tears or start yelling. She walked to the kitchen counter, picked up her phone, and opened an app. "Did you document it?" she asked. Layla nodded and held out her phone. Elena scrolled through the pictures and video, her expression unreadable. "Good. Sit down." Layla sat. The chair felt too small, like she'd shrunk sometime between second period and now. "Listen carefully," Elena said. "What happened to you is assault. It is humiliation. It is a crime." She met Layla's eyes, and they picked the wrong girl. "Mom, I don't want. This is not about revenge," Elena cut in. "This is about stopping them before they do this to someone else, before they think they can get away with it again." She tapped a number on her phone. "Detective Hughes, it's Carter. I'm sending you a file. I want prints, faces, timestamps. Quietly for now." Layla blinked. "You're calling the police." "I am the police," Elena said calmly. "And I am also your mother." Word spread in 48 hours. At first, it was just murmurs. A teacher pulled Kayla aside. The principal called her parents. Then detectives visited classrooms, asking to have a quick word. Phones were confiscated. The Ghostwatch group chat vanished from everyone's screens. By Friday, the school was buzzing, not with gossip, but fear. They saw her walking down the hallway, head high despite the buzz cut, hoodie open for the first time. No one tripped her. No one laughed out loud. The air around her felt different now, charged. A notification popped up on everyone's school email. "Menta ISS MNTNCRIMNEL CONSEQNCS." On stage, beside the principal and superintendent, stood Elena Carter in a dark suit, her expression cool and carved from steel. Some students recognized her from billboards downtown, others from the local news. "The actions taken against my daughter," she began, voice echoing through the auditorium. "They're not a prank. They are not drama. They are not kids being kids. They are assault, harassment, and digital exploitation." The word daughter rippled through the crowd. Whispers erupted. "Her? Wet. Layla's her kid. Oh, they're done." In the third row, Kayla sat stiff, backed between her parents, lips pressed so tightly they'd gone white. Her father had both hands clenched on his knees. Her mother looked like she might be sick. Elena continued, unflinching. "I am not here as your district attorney today. I am here as a mother who will not let this go. Ever." Later, they'd say they'd never seen the principal so pale. They'd talk about the charges: assault, cyberbullying, distribution of harmful content. They'd share screenshots of parents crying in the parking lot when they realized scholarships, reputations, and futures were on the line. That afternoon, as students streamed out, Layla stood by the exit, waiting for her mother. Some kids glanced at her, then hurried past. A few met her eyes, then quickly looked away. One girl approached slowly, clutching her books. "Hey," she murmured. "I saw the video before it got deleted. I didn't say anything. I'm sorry." Layla studied her, then shrugged softly. "Now you know what it looks like," she said. "Next time, say something before it gets that far." Elena's car pulled up. She rolled down the window. "Ready." Layla slid into the passenger seat. They drove in silence for a while, the sun slanting low, catching on Layla's uneven hair. Finally, she said, "You didn't have to do all this." "Yes," Elena said. "I did. Because I'm your daughter." "Because you're someone's daughter," Elena replied. "And they forgot that," I reminded them. Layla looked out the window, watching the school shrink in the rearview mirror. Her head still felt foreign, lighter in all the wrong ways. But somewhere beneath the ache, something else had taken root. Not just fear, power. If you've ever felt small, remember this: you never know whose child you're hurting. You never know who's watching the video you thought would disappear. And you never know which quiet girl in the hallway has a mother who will burn the whole system down before she lets you get away with it.